All right, hi everybody, welcome. Kiana Prema here, and today is our last meeting of our um, Business Success Book Circle, where we're covering Get Over Your Damn Self by Romi Neustadt. And so today we're talking about the last 4 chapters of the book, and really just an opportunity to share any nuggets, any takeaways, any successes of implementation. And I just have to say that I love this book, and I'm really like carrying it around with me right now, like as my manual. I've done a lot of I've done quite a few. I've my numbers. I'm not going to brag on myself. I've been consistent though. I've been having 3-way calls this week. Both me bringing 3-ways to my upline and doing 3-ways with people from my downline. And I'm having the book here in my hand as I do it. I'm going and like, okay, what are the things I want to make sure that I'm covering in the introduction? I've just had it handy, and I feel like it's been super great and super effective. And I really liked these last chapters, the kind of bringing it home chapters. Chapter 13 was one that is super near and dear to my heart. It was really talking about efficiency and effectiveness in our time. And I highlighted a ton of stuff in here, both as reminders for myself and just like what I really want to be sharing and creating as far as the culture inside of our team. And on page 174, I highlighted forget rigid hours of operation. And, much like Romi, and she even said like she worked it and trained it herself about like having hours of operation. And I've done that. I have that. Like they literally have business hours blocked out on my calendar. And I think in general, it's a good it's a good practice. But I like also what she's talking about, on Sunday night, sitting down and mapping it out. And that's also part of my practice, is to generally, like Sundays, I tend to have like
hey, Kiana, could you mute people or ask people to mute? I'm hearing crunching. Thanks.
Yeah. Let me get muted. Everybody muted. Thanks. Okay, great. I think I've kind of had a both and I still like the idea of like kind of blocking, okay, these are generally the times that I'm going to do stuff. But not, it's not rigid, right? Like life happens and things schedule. And so Sundays are a day that I generally totally unplug. I don't do business. It's about me, and just my rejuvenation. But I also, and this has been true for me for a very long time, like the last decade or so, that by the time Sunday evening rolls around, my energy is already kind of naturally starting to think about the week coming up and what's got to happen. And that's been a very natural part of my rhythm, to then start to look at the calendar and put that all together. So I really, really love that. And I think that's a really great practice. So if everybody were to implement that, having their calendar that they put everything in, whether it's physical or online or whatever, and then just having that, okay, Sunday, let me kind of look at my to-dos, let me kind of map out what my week looks like, and then at the end of every day, just taking a few minutes to look at the next day and adjust and put together that list, that 5-3-2 list. And that's a place that I could definitely use a little more refinement for myself, like making a list the night before of the people that I'm going to call the next day. That makes it so much easier to just make those phone calls, right? Than having to be thinking about like, oh, who am I going to call today? And even that, like with a little bit of grace in that too, because I do like to tune in the morning and kind of feel the energy and feel for alignment of who I can be in touch with that day. I highlighted so much in that chapter. Coaching calls, having a purpose. If anybody's ever done a strategy call with me, I do have a questionnaire that I ask people to fill out. I think it's so important. Page 177 onto page 178. I think this is super important for me, and I think it's super important for leaders that we don't trick ourselves that we need to like overtrain and overcoach, all kinds of everybody. We have to spend our time really wisely And so, weekly or twice monthly, 15-minute power, like a power session was what she offers her team. And they have to fill out the questionnaire ahead of time. And if somebody no-shows without notice and without an emergency, they don't get the chance to have them anymore until she says, until she's ready to treat this like a business and respect my time. And when a team member doesn't reach out to at least 15 new people a week for more than 2 sessions, we put it on hold until she's ready to commit to talking to enough people. And I just think that's so important and so brilliant, right? She also mentions like what the company has and in general team trainings and resources, like there's enough for people who can meet their goals. But if people are going to have my time, if people are going to have your time, our time, like they need to actually be showing up in a really dedicated way. So I think that's super key. Don't do anything in person you can do over the phone via FaceTime. I built my business over the phone, so I that's been pretty instilled from me from the beginning. What else? I mean, I basically highlighted this whole chapter, and then the chapter on taking care of yourself along the way is so good, right? If we know what our time is worth, if we know how important, like this is a relationship business, like people are, at the end of the day, people are saying yes to us, right? They're saying yes to us more than they're saying yes to a product or even the opportunities. So we need to be in good state and we need to be magnetic. I really realize I get to say yes to my exercise this last month. So funny, the beginning of the year I was on it, January, February. This last month, like I haven't been to the gym at all, and I was going 2 or 3 times a week, and it does. Like when I was doing that, like feeling that strength in my body, totally helping me clear my head and get going. So I'm recommitting to that with the spring happening. I love this, and I love that she also ended it with fuck fear, fuck fear, because that's just. It's part of the game, and here's what I highlighted. So here's the great news about fear. It's not our job to argue with it or fix it or escape it. It's our job to act in spite of it. And I think that's something that we just have to remind ourselves every day, that, okay, this feels scary, this feels overwhelming, this feels whatever, but you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna move forward anyway. And those are my big takeaways. The other thing that I would just highlight, I love that she mentioned doing a book of the month with your team as part of personal development, and then coming together, at the end of the month to discuss either big takeaways or how to apply them in your business or life. And so that is kind of how I feel I would love to move forward. I love that we did this book together. To be totally honest, I don't love that we had 2 meetings a week to go over this book, because I feel like it's actually contradictory to what she's teaching as far as our time efficiency. But I'm totally down to continue to have a book that we decide to read together as a group, or then come together at the end of the month so everybody can read it on their own time, and then share from there. So that's my takeaways, and I'm really grateful that we did do this, and grateful to be landing into that time efficiency as the final piece, so we can all be more efficient, more effective. Because I don't know if you did the calculations, but I'm greedy. I actually want to make $1 million, and I only want to work 15 hours a week. That's my truth. So that's over $1,000 an hour. My time is worth. So I got to prioritize from that standpoint. Joanne, your hair looks fabulous. You want to go?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and those that are watching on the video. And thank you, Kiana, for your help and support in offering this up. I really feel like this book is like the Bible for what we're doing. And I also know that we all have to have our own personal, we're individual people. We have different priorities, even though we have common goals and missions, but we have different ways that we move through the world, and, just different flavors and styles. We have different terpenes, right? So, but I feel like there's so much here, and if people will spend 5 or 10 minutes, pick this book up 3 or 4 times a week, read a little nugget, get recalibrated to what she's talking about here, it's going to be easy to see, you know, what works and what doesn't work. And ultimately, I feel like this is what spiritual awakening is for me. It's about figuring out what works and what doesn't work in your life, what takes you in the direction that you want to go, and what thwarts you or sabotages you, you know. And so, you know, this is a book that's going to help people realize what they're doing that's working. You know, lead with the business, not the product. Get organized with your time. Prioritize your self-care. I mean, these are basic things that we've been talking about for a while, but I feel like we need constant reminders on. So a couple of my highlights from this. I like the idea of looking at your daily schedule the night before, you know, if not every day, maybe 3 days a week, you know, spending 5 minutes creating a little plan, or even in the morning time after meditation. I love that. People have been telling me really good things about the 5-3-2, or at the very least making a commitment that I'm going to talk to 5 people a day and follow up with 3 people a day. And I feel like those are really good numbers to work with. And I love the idea of, on page 177, as you mentioned, if you're going to do a strategy session with somebody, to reflect, how many people did you reach out to in the last week? How many 3-way calls did you do? You know, what's your activity level, and is it where you want it to be? Prior to strategizing, because that, you know, that's, for me, that's sort of the basic commitment. And what continues to be talked to, and what Aaron really trained on in Akamal, is this has to be a priority for you. Even if you're doing 5 other things, even if you're a mom and you have another job and you're, you know, this has to be a priority. And so what does that priority look like? And how do you know with your own self that that's really true for you? And I want to focus on people that are making this a priority. So let's see. On page 180, she talks about don't get distracted, and how important it is that we carve out specific time for prospecting. So, you know, life is distracting, very distracting. So if you can carve out a minimum of 1 hour where you're not going to do anything else, you're not going to go on Facebook, you're not going to clean your house. You know, for me, it's like I have to leave home. I can't really be at home. When I'm home, there's stuff calling to me. So my most productive time literally is sitting in my car, which is why you guys see me there a lot. I'm very productive in my car. So just know that about yourself. Where do you need to be to have your most productive time? I cannot make phone calls from a coffee shop with background noise. That does not work for me at all. Although, you know, I can do other things there. So find really productive time that you're going to be doing your 5-3-2. I think is a really critical thing, and not bullshitting yourself about it or letting yourself get distracted and sucked into social media or whatever else. You know, I had a talk with one of my girls yesterday, who's like frustrated, and my people aren't doing anything, and I enrolled 25 people and they're not doing anything, and, you know, there's no activity, and blah, 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 blah. So it's basically like, the thing that I keep coming back to over and over is, if I'm frustrated, if I'm struggling, if I'm in self-judgment, if I'm pissed off at things that are not going my way, I'm not connected to source. You know, that's like the bottom line, number one thing for me. I have to get connected so that I feel like this is the life of God for me. You know, this is my language. This is the life of God expressed as Joanne. And whatever happens through me, I'm just here to shine you know, I'm here to be like a conduit. I got one hand up in the air. I got another one reaching out forward. I'm here to receive the light and share the light in a variety of different ways. So the most important thing is that I'm in a place of like conscious contact with God, you know, and that's, I think, how we get magnetic. You know what I mean? I think that's what this whole magnetic thing is about, is that people feel this light from me. They feel like that I'm good, which is why you can't prospect when you feel crappy, which is why you need to come back to your self-care. So, you know, I spent the last 2 weeks resting a lot, not doing a lot, focusing on recharging my batteries on every level. I don't know what happened to me last week, but I felt taken out. And lo and behold, I talked to a bunch of other people and they all felt the same way too. So I say put your spiritual life first, spend time in nature, meditate, you know, make a list of 5 people that you can call that will help remind you to focus on your spiritual life. Like, it's the most important thing in business, in parenting, in friendship, in community building, the whole thing. It's like, and we're so lucky because we have this, sacred plant that's really profound in terms of helping us connect inwardly. So, so that's what I want to say about like the number one top priority. And that's what I told my friend. It's like, just keep taking quiet moments throughout the day to take 3 deep breaths, to pray. Veronica Kelly shared something great with me. She said, your team is already in place. It's all done already. I'm going to have to get the mantra and put it on WhatsApp because I forgot what it was. But basically it's like, stay connected to your truth, to your source, to God, and let that guide you to the people that you're going to bring in, and just know that you're going to bring in 10 rock stars between now and Austin. That's the goal, is that you're going to recruit 10 people in the next, 90 days. And they're all out there, and they're ready. They're ready with their yes. They're praying for this. Keep visualizing that and getting excited about meeting these people, right? So she talked about how important it is to say no, and how important it is to say yes. So saying no to anything that is taking you out of the direction that you're going. And we all have these things, we all have people that are reaching out to us. And, I like the law of attraction thing that says, focus on like what feels good. So yes to help, saying yes to help, saying yes to exercise, saying yes to personal development, saying yes to downtime and unplugging. And she talks about starting your day off in the right way with a grateful list, with an intention for the day. I think that's really super important. Maybe you have an accountability buddy that you're texting in the morning, your grateful list and your intention for the day. I recommend that. We talked about getting accountability buddies. I know some of us started with it and probably fell away. So maybe today we can all reconnect with a accountability buddy, and maybe it's just a morning text. Here's what I'm grateful for. Here's my intention for the day. I think that would be a phenomenal thing. And then if you've got some people that you can check in with 3 or 4 times a week, maybe at the end of the day, here's the names of the 5 people that I reached out to and the 3 people I followed up with. I think that would be phenomenal in terms of just supporting us in knowing that I'm going to check in with somebody and I want to have a good, check-in, that I followed through on my commitment to myself. Another thing I want to mention on page 198, she says, celebrate the little victories. I don't know about you guys, but I spend a lot of time and energy focusing on what I'm not doing. A lot of mental energy focusing on what I'm not doing, because pretty much my brain says I'm never doing enough. And yet when I take the time to acknowledge what I am doing, I feel awesome. So I think that's really critical and important. Maybe when you're doing your grateful list, just to focus on self-appreciation for a moment, I'm helping a mom who's got a 7-month-old who's having 50 seizures a day. I'm connecting her with practitioners that can offer her up support for what she's going through. Her baby probably needs maybe something different than what we have. I don't know, but I'm doing research for it. I'm recommending, I'm responding to the things that the universe has for me. I showed up at a health fair on Sunday and I met 50 people, and I'm following up with them, so acknowledge what you're doing. Be kind to yourself, page 199. That's always a good option. And she talks a lot about recruiting your husband, getting your kids on board. I think that's really, really important. So if you've got married people on your team or people with kids, to really show it what's in it for them. On the topic of the fear inventory, I would say make a list of the top fears that you have about this business. I think that's a really good thing to do. If you've never written a fear inventory, it's a really good idea. I used to do it with this spiritual community I was a part of. They would do a 15 minutes, sit down and make a list. And basically what you write is, I'm resentful at so-and-so because I'm afraid of this. I really like that format. I'm resentful at so-and-so because I'm afraid of this. And then you write for 15 minutes about what you're afraid about. And you tie it into your resentment, which is good. I don't know about you guys. Anybody have resentments? I'm holding my hand up over here. I have resentments. I have a fucking lot of resentments, actually. And so if you notice that your resentments are tied in with your fears, it will give you great insight into your own self, and it will get you off of the resentment piece and into your own deep inner work with this. The number one reason people don't move forward in this business is because they're afraid. I absolutely guarantee you that. So if you do it, your people will do it. So if you've never done a fear inventory, maybe that's an assignment for today. And maybe you, so what we used to do is you write for 15 minutes. I'm resentful at so-and-so because I'm afraid of this. And at the end of it, you read it to somebody and then you tear it up. So, and it's a great practice to do, you know, often. And then the last thing I want to talk about, so she says, this is not about not having fear. It's not about fixing it or escaping it. It's about taking action in the midst of your fear. So we're all afraid, you know, I'm afraid about being, you know, ostracized, judged, criticized. People think I'm fucking crazy. You know, and these are all like real things in my life that I deal with on a regular basis. And I just noticed that the little kid in me feels deeply impacted by all of these things. So it requires a lot of getting my spiritual adult in gear and working with that little kid so that I'm not going out with my 5-year-old prospecting with this little kid. You know what I mean? I have to be in my spiritual adult. I have to be in my grown-up place, not feeling like a needy little kid when I'm talking to people about my business. And if you want more information about that, that's the kind of coaching work I do. So reach out to me to do a session with me and I'll help you with that. And then final words. I love this. Page 221. I think this is the best part of the whole book. Ready? As you get more and more successful in your company and even the entire profession, don't get caught up in your own press. Don't chase the accolades and the recognition. Don't try to be the best, fastest, top earner, or biggest cheese. Try to be the best you that you can be every single day. For you, for your loved ones, and for your team. There may not be a company title for that, but there's a life title. It's called servant leader. And, you know, I have to tell you, I'm sure everybody, you know, we go to conferences and we see people up on stage and we're like, I want to be like them, or I want to be like them doing a presentation. I can't tell you how many times I've said this about Kiana and Erin and Renee and Lori and JT and Austin and everybody, you know, there's like fucking amazing people in this company that are amazing presenters and trainers and teachers. And it's very easy to say that. And even on our company calls, they've said, you want to be up on stage so that your people say, I can do that too, you know? So I think there's a healthy part about this. And then I think there's an unhealthy part about it, right? So my prayer is, let me serve at the highest level for the benefit of all concerned, whatever that looks like, you know, whether it's a one-on-one conversation or a team training, or I get to write a book, or I get to stand up on stage and talk to thousands of people. However it is that God wants to move through me in any given moment, let me be available for that. So I think the opportunity is to be inspired by people, but focus on being your best and not laying a trip upon yourself about how you compare to other people. The other thing is, she says on page 222, please remember that you're looking for people who see what you see and are willing to invest money to enjoy the benefits of your products or the possibilities of your business. If you're discounting the proposition with an occasional enticement, you're diluting yourself in all you have to offer. So keep it really simple. We have an amazing business opportunity here. We have life-changing products here. We're looking for people who see that and who are interested in it. Those might be people that you know right now, or they might be people that you're going to meet soon. But if you stay in touch with people, prioritize your relationships, ask for referrals, and present what we have, this will build for you, and you will help lots of people in the way, and we'll be here to cheer you on all along the way. So I love you guys. Thank you. Mwah.
Awesome. Thanks, Joanne. All right, who else wants to share? What are your takeaways from these chapters or the implementation of this book so far?
I'll share.
Awesome. Hi, Maddie.
Hi. I loved both of your shares. You both are so inspiring and you really help motivate me to keep going, especially when I'm in a funk. What really caught my eye was, of course, fuck fear, the chapter 16, because I feel like the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I've been stuck in that fucking dumb word. And I wrote down, I thought it was pretty interesting what she said. She said, we get cloaked in fear, and over time, the fear becomes so heavy. Fears keep us from remembering our dreams, what we are capable of, who we were meant to be. The voices in your head silence out the real you. You have all the tools. And even when you have all the tools, the fear has drowned out the why, the coaching, the dreams, and the possibilities. And I felt like that really resonated with me because I feel like that's the state I'm in. And it's really frustrating, and it makes me kind of disappointed in myself because I know what I'm capable of. And like they said, even the book, even like you and Joanne, like amazing leaders, and you guys have been where we were, and and you guys give us hope. But it's just I need to break through that because it's a stupid word. False evidence appearing real. Like it's not. And it's like I played competitive soccer growing up. So it's like I always had that fear until I fucking started playing. And then I was like, yeah, this is great. I love soccer. So I'm making sense. But I found that kind of like what you were saying, Kiana, about getting back into exercising. And you were on top of it January and February, and then March kind of slipped. And that's kind of what happened to me. And I feel like that's what I need to do. Like that is right in my face, like exercise, because, again, I've exercised my whole life. I've played soccer 16 years, and I know that it helps clear. So like we all know what it does for you, but I just feel like that's where my confidence is lacking is in the physical activity. So once I get back into exercising, then maybe that stupid fear will dissipate and I will be able to continue on, because it just worries me. I get so like every day goes by, days go by so fast, and it's like, fuck, like we're not always going to have this window of opportunity. And especially like with you and Joanne, like putting on these calls, like I'm so fortunate. I know other people agree with me, like so fortunate that you don't even charge a fee. Like you just show up, and I'm so blessed to have you guys. And I want not just to prove to you two, but like prove to myself and prove to everyone in the business that I really want to back up what I say. And sorry, I'm going on all these tangents, but I love this book. This book is amazing. And yeah, I'll let other people talk, but the fear, the chapter 16 really stuck out to me. I was like, wow, she's talking to me. So yeah, that's all I have to share. Thank you.
Thanks, Maddie. Let's be accountability partners. Let's get back in the gym this week, all right? All right. Awesome. Who else?
Quick share from me. It's Laura in Ashland. Hi, y'all. Thanks again for this book study group. It's been awesome. I loved the thing about the questionnaire before a coaching call and asking, what kind of activities they've done. Have they done 15 reach outs, etc. It was a big eye opener for me, largely because I've just been wanting words that sort of affirm what I've been wanting to do all along. Like I didn't know how to say it. I didn't know how to ask for it. And in our culture, a lot of my upline is so giving with their time. There's been a precedent set of, in my opinion, over giving in the state of, you know, with the intention of generosity of time, but I don't see that that's sustainable for me. And so I love that. And it's not judging people like, well, if you haven't done these numbers, you're bad or it's wrong. It's just, here's, you know, here's the criteria. And these are the people I want to really invest my life energy in to help support them grow big. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Have you been doing that, Kiana and Joanne? Have you been doing something like that? I mean, I heard you say something about it earlier, but I'm not sure what the details are for you.
Yeah, I have a appointment scheduler, and I don't have exactly those questions. I might update it, but I do have a scheduler for people to book strategy calls, and there is like you have to fill out like, you know, what your questions are. You have to give me some information ahead of time, but I haven't had those what was your time
Right.
thing. So, or what's
Right.
your activity been this week? So that would be a next level for sure. But my experience has been just the fact that I have a scheduler and people have to fill it out and fill in, like, think about what they want ahead of time, has been a bit of a filter, you
That's
know?
great.
Yeah.
Are you using Acuity or Calendly? I can't remember.
I use Acuity. I got on that a long time ago and I just never made a conversion to Calendly.
Okay.
Calendly might be a little more smoother interface. I think it's probably functionality about the same, but aesthetics, user experience, Calendly might be a little cleaner, cooler.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I think you know, she says, hopefully you learn the value of being a hard ass. Like I kind of have set the precedence. I feel like I will give you my time if you're showing up and you're taking my time seriously. And if you're not, I love you. Jump into company training calls and do what you're going to do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you've been a good teacher, Kiana, of me redirecting people to the training resources that they're already there. Like if the answer's in our back office, I tell them to look in their back office.
Yeah, I don't need a codependent team. I need
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Laura. Who else?
Hi, Kiana. It's Donna. Hi, everyone. Well, I flew 4 hours and listened to all of this flying yesterday from Florida to Colorado for the second time.
Thanks.
And I really like the get into action part. That's a very, very good, piece there of mapping it out, managing your work schedule and putting everything in one place. That's been my biggest frustration. I turn around, I look, and I've got my big book here that has all the calendar, and then I have this paper over here, and then I have a regular calendar over here, and then I got papers over here, and I'm like, how do people do this? How the frick do people do this? Remember, I don't come from a lot of paperwork. I just told Lincoln the other day, I go, wow, man, this is some labor-intensive paperwork stuff here. I said, I've never been involved with so much paper. I go in, I cut hair, I make appointments. I schedule those appointments 4 to 6 weeks out. Boom, I'm done. I buy my supplies, This is like, wow, over the top. So when she said put every damn thing in one place, it made my day. It rocked my world, to tell you the truth. I mean, it was really, I went, oh my God, there is hope for me. So that was like the biggest thing for me, is just getting it all in one place, And of course, I'm excited to be here with everybody again. And of course, what's the other one? Karma is a bitch. Yeah, I like that. Everybody, I don't really see that in our company at all, which is really nice. But from time to time, things go on, and I think you really do have to pay attention to your gut feeling as she speaks. She tells that story. It's good. Yeah, because there's a lot of us that know a lot of the same people, and I don't think it would be intentional sometimes to cross over, but I think everybody needs to stand up and say, well, wait a minute, I know that person, I talked to that person first, or at least ask, that person, have you talked to anyone,
Mm-hmm.
first before you pursue, especially here in Boulder, Colorado, because everything is so tightly knit. Everybody knows everybody. So that's a good piece for everybody to take with them. And what else in here? Let's see. I like the part like what Joanne was saying, the final words. Try to be the best you can every single day. That's really what it's at, right? Where it's all, that's really, really, that hit home a lot because it's really true. It's not about all out there. It's about doing the best you can. And yeah, that's it for me. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I could go on and on and on, as we all can. But that getting into action and putting everything in one place, I'm on it. I started this morning. I'm so excited. Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. Thanks, girls.
Welcome back to Colorado.
Thank you, baby. I'm looking forward to it. I get to see Lincoln this afternoon.
Yay. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Who else? Melissa or Tara? We have someone on the phone, a 310 number.
I can go.
All right, awesome.
I can't come on the video, but I just wanted to share. I now have listened to this book a few times, and I just absolutely believe that this is the best book that I've ever read in being in network marketing before I was in Prime. I wish that I had had something like this. I definitely had read, Eric Worre's GoPro, but I just think this one takes the cake. And I just love how, and especially in this one, the fear, I don't have children and a family and all that stuff yet. So for me, it was more of like getting out of your own way, getting uncomfortable, being comfortable with being uncomfortable, and just being fearless. I think somebody else said it earlier, is like, fear is just false evidence appearing real. And that's really what the take home is. It's like, if we're feeling, oh, I'm afraid to talk to that person, it's all the more reason we have to talk to them. So I've just been really trying to sit in meditation and every day just asking, how can we be of greater level service? Who can we connect with today? And there's some big fish who are actually coming into my life that could open some big doors for my business. So I'm very excited, to start collaborating and really getting this HEMP, helping educate misinformed practitioners, police officers, politicians, pet owners, patients, people just in general, is really an exciting part to just, have conversations with people and ask them, what do you know about this? Especially with the new Recept product that we just released. Like, oh my gosh, it's absolutely, like, I'm trying to go through right now. I've talked to over 550 people now. And now it's a matter of, following up with every single one of them and letting them know about this new Recept, and, trying to pack events and finding a meeting space where we can start holding events in Denver is part of my vision. I really want to start getting Denver, Colorado Springs, and Fort Collins growing. So I think that, I'm just asking, and we'll be sent connections for places where we can start holding regular events, not just only in Boulder, but, spreading it around. So I appreciate all of this, and you guys are so amazing. Joanne, Kiana, appreciate you so much. And Laura also for, organizing this and everything. You guys make me so happy to be a part of this mission.
Awesome. Thanks, Tara. And yeah, we'll stay in touch. I have some prospects there, and they're in Arvada, but they've got a great house. If they come in, we can do events there. So it's more Denver focused. But yeah, let's build Denver. Who else? Alyssa? Share? Bring us home?
I actually have a question. I had someone call me yesterday that was actually on my list, which it's amazing when people call you on your list and you don't have to call them. So it's very synchronistic. And the conversation eventually came around because she's such a giver and healer also, and very proud of my body. And when she asked about the oil, you know, I didn't want to spew too much, but I wanted to lead with the business, and then she shot it down right away, and then it made everything awkward. And then that's when the fear came in. I was like, shit, what do I do? What's that part in the book? What's next? You know, like I was trying to remember how to handle the situation, and I just had to leave it where it was and just keep it as another touch. And so I don't know, I appreciate this book to have in, you know, my back pocket, my mind, of like how to handle all those objections and things that come up in our in the business, in the industry. So I don't know, I guess I just wanted to say that I appreciate all of you too for this book, bringing it to our attention, because it's getting myself it's getting me out of my self sway. And like I don't know what else to say. I just I don't even know what to say. I'm like overwhelmed with like, I want to go and just go kick ass. Like I was working on business cards yesterday when I was supposed to be doing something else, and planning, and getting really excited for Austin, and bringing people, trying to get people to come. So I don't know if that made sense, but that's my share. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just gonna warn you to be a little careful of your planning if it's interfering with your making calls, talking to people.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, and when, you know, I think, yes, lead with the business, and if somebody comes to you and specifically asks about the product, I think you kind of have to roll with that, you know? I think it's the harder thing to try to turn it around to the business if they're directly asking about the product.
It was because I was feeling, you know, I was hearing what her need was, which was she's doing all these things for free and she's having a hard time with money. So I was like, why are you giving so much? Like she'll do free body work. She's a senior and she'll like give free massages, but she's like suffering physically. Yeah. And it's like kind of perfect, this business.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, anyway, it's a work in progress, but
totally.
It was a good
sounds like
practice.
It's like, what's in it for them, right? Being able to then turn that around and be like, you know, being able to show what's in it for them and how the business could be good for her.
Yeah. And it just reminded me of what Joanne said, like the inner child, like the challenge. And then it's like, wait, I need to stand in my grown-up power here.
Yeah.
You know, the posture thing. And so just working on that every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every way. I'm getting better and better.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, babe. All right, we have one more person that's on the phone, a 310 area code. I'm not sure if you want to share anything with us. Maybe not in a place to talk, just listening, getting inspired, and that's okay. All right, well, ladies, then I think that we're complete for this. Congratulations on diving in. You know, the work is not done, that's for sure, but we've got ourselves armed with some great tools. And, you know, I just want to really encourage us to really be in that practice, 5-3-2, being on the phone, being out in front of people, getting into action. And, you know, we've got about 3 weeks left of a really amazing promotion. So right now, what's the focus? Focus is on recruitment and duplication. You know, $5,000 and $10,000 checks are on the table for potentially yourself or any new member that you bring into the team. So if we're focused on recruiting and duplication, then we can see big things happening. And all of that is just the momentum that's driving to Austin, right? It's, you know, if we're making money, if our team members are making money, we're making money. That funds our ability to be able to go to Austin. It funds our team's ability to go to Austin. So spring is here. Let's get it done. All right, lovelies. Mwah. We'll see you soon. We'll post, I think maybe we will do an end of the month review of Feel Free to Prosper for the month of April. If you haven't picked up that book, I highly recommend it. I've started reading it now. So keep an eye out for that. But my desire is that we do a end of the month check-in rather than a weekly check-in on that. So, all right, y'all, have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Thanks again. Bye.